going on, y'all? How's you guys' day going? Hope you're having a good day. My day's good. Thank you for asking. Yet again, something that I have noticed, and this isn't new by any means, is the irrational fear of cringe. Everything, every single thing that you can do as a person now, in some way or another, can be considered cringe. And it makes me laugh so much because of the irony about how cringe it is that we have allowed this new idea, because this is not what cringe was when I first heard that word or when that first became a term to even use. This is not the same thing. No, now it has literally gone full circle. It's a pendulum, right? I say it all the time. If you've ever seen my videos, I say it all the time. Things are a pendulum, right? They go back and forth. One extreme often ends up being the opposite extreme. And so what it has become now is quite literally back in the 90s, the early 2000s, of popular kids who think that they're too cool to do things. And they sit on the benches and they chew their gum and they see some other girl or some other dude playing, reading some type of anime book or reading, anything, or playing Dungeons and Dragons. What? You play Dungeons and Dragons? You're lame, kid, right? Like that quite literally has what it's become, but it looks different, obviously, because it has to look the way in which we articulate ourselves. It has to look in the way that the world is now. And so now, instead of calling something lame, instead of calling something like you're a loser, right, in the way that they meant it back then, we just say cringe. And we apply it to everything, dude. Like, the number one thing that I see people being, at least maybe it's just social media, but from what I've seen and from what I've heard, the number one thing that people are the most afraid to do in fear of being cringe is dancing. How do you ruin dancing? Dancing is one of the coolest things. I love dancing. Dancing has always been an expression of yourself, an expression of the time period you live in. Like, imagine if you were born in the 80s and you saw Michael Jackson dancing and you dared to say something like, that's cringe. What is he doing? Why is he up there dancing like that? Why does he look like that? That's cringe. Imagine that. Imagine, right? Like, just how ridiculous you would have to be to say something like that. And so apply it, right, to the same exact scenario. You see somebody practicing. You see somebody trying to dance. You see somebody trying to get a group together to dance. Or even in the club where you're supposed to dance. People will not dance because they are so afraid that there's some weirdo, that there is an actual loser hiding in the corner recording, waiting, right? That's another thing I should make a video about, is that we have become so comfortable with recording other people with no expectation of privacy whatsoever. Like, I know for a fact you've seen those videos where they'll literally just be on, like, a person just on their phone, and maybe they're texting their spouse, maybe they're on Instagram, maybe they're on, who knows what. It could be anything, right? And there it is, somebody right behind them recording, laughing at them. Oh, haha, look how funny it is. This person's texting dirty messages to their spouse. Blah, blah, blah. Let me post it on the internet. Right? That's cringe. You want to talk about cringe? That's cringe, that you think it's funny to record other people's privacy, regardless of how ridiculous it might be, regardless of what it is that they're doing. You have no right to do that. And so anyways, that's not the point of this video. It is insane to me that you can go to a place where you are supposed to go to dance, right? That's the whole point. And it's an actual, like, it's a rational thought in your head to think, yeah, I don't really feel like doing anything because there might be somebody recording because they want to show off, right? There might be somebody showing off, because that's how it always starts, those kind of videos, where it'll, like, the caption will be something like, oh, I was just at the club, and I was just trying to show off the section I was in. I was trying to show off the alcohol I was drinking, and look what I saw behind me. And then they show, somebody doing something cringe. They show somebody doing something stupid or whatever it might be. And so it's like, yeah, why would you want to do anything? Why would you put yourself out there if you know at any point in time some loser who is obsessed with their social media identity, or some loser is out there trying to make themselves seem better than they actually are, might record you. They might record you and you'd have no idea. You could be a meme, you could blow up on the internet for a week, and you might not find out until 2 weeks later. You might not find out until 3 weeks later. And so it has plagued everything though, right? Because look, even before cringe was something that you would deem as a term for anything, it wasn't uncommon to be nervous, right? Everybody gets nervous about things. Everybody fears social judgment. So it's not like this is a new thing. No, what we've done is we have taken social judgment, we have taken social like outcasting and literally made it even worse somehow, right? How do you take something already so detrimental to kids, just to people in general, and you make it worse? The internet, right? And so we quite literally have taken something already awful and made it even worse because of our obsession with social media. But now it's gotten even worse than that because now you can apply that word to anything, right? So for example, I don't know how many times I've been having a conversation, right? And you can tell, I'm sure you can tell, I get really loud. I'm a very loud, passionate, emphatic person, right? I get it from my dad. My dad used to get so loud. And it's actually funny that I bring him up because I would think the same thing about myself that I used to think about him. And what would happen is I'd be having a conversation with somebody and I'd be getting loud because I get passionate and I get really into the conversation. And I'm in public areas, obviously, right? Like I'm, eating, I'm at, the park, wherever, right? You name it. I'm just in a public setting and there's other people around. And there I am, the only person being hella loud, getting all, into the conversation, just getting really, really, like a lot of conviction, right? Like I speak with a lot of conviction. And so I don't know how many times I've thought in my head, maybe I should chill out, right? Not just because, you don't want to be loud in public settings, but specifically let me calm down because I don't want to be seen as weird. I don't want to seem, like, oh, well, I'm being cringe right now. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, right? I don't want anybody to think anything of me. I don't want this person to be embarrassed because they're talking to me, whatever it might be. And I used to think the same thing about my dad because he would do the same thing and he would get really, really, really loud. And I'd be like, I'm a kid. So I'd be like, oh, geez, like, why are you eating like that? Like, you're doing too much. Like, why are you getting so loud? And it's just because, you shouldn't even have to think about it in that way. You shouldn't have to think about it in terms of like, other people are going to judge me. Other people are going to look this way, like, if you don't want to be loud just because, you're in a public setting, right? Like, it's just kind of like etiquette almost to not be loud. That's fine. But no, we should never reach a point where you are doing a very normal thing, right? Like there should never be a time where you go to a public place and you're worried that you're going to get made fun of for the book you read, right? Like that is the level that we're at now. That is how bad it's gotten. And I can't tell you how many videos I see of just people doing normal things. Like I literally wouldn't even be able to give you an example. Like just being interested, just being very interested in something, being like having a passion, right? Like not just like, oh, this thing is cool, but rather you can tell that this thing means a lot to them. You can tell that this thing is more than just, cool. It's a passion of theirs, or it's a, like maybe a goal even, right? And so it means a lot to them. And it's almost like people are looking for those things to make fun of. It's like they don't like seeing other people being happy, being different, being outspoken even, right? Like you could literally, I don't know, man. Like let's say you have the same conversation with multiple people, right? So like let's say you're with your friend, right? And you take them everywhere you go. And they start to notice that you have the same conversation you like to talk. It is very likely that friend will start to think of you in a way where like, oh, that's kind of cringe that he brings that up every single time we talk to somebody. Every single time we talk about this thing, he says this thing, right? Like that is the mindset. That is the idea that we have just it's almost like a blanket. Like we quite literally have just thrown this blanket over anything a human being can do. And if you're in any way, right, like even slightly vulnerable, immediately cringe, 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 cringe. Like, no, stay in line, stay normal, stop like being nonchalant, stop trying to be chalant. You gotta, look cool all the time. You gotta dress a certain way. You can't dress a certain way unless, it might be considered cringe. Oh, you still wear those? Cringe. You still think that's cool? Cringe, right? Like, I guarantee you, right? Like, I haven't seen this one as much. I guarantee you there are a group of people out there who consider still watching SpongeBob cringe, when SpongeBob clearly is one of the best TV shows of all time. And it doesn't matter if you're an adult. It doesn't matter anything. Like, these things stay true no matter who you are, right? Like, there's a reason why you liked it as a kid. There's probably a reason why you would like it as an adult. But I guarantee you, if you could find a group out there, right? Like, that might be a little bit harder just because of how popular SpongeBob is, right? Like, there's plenty of SpongeBob memes. And so that one might be a little bit harder. But the point that I'm making is that I could easily, I guess, imagine being in a group, maybe even being younger, right? Like, if I was a teenager during this time period, I could totally imagine being made fun of. And I've had moments like that. I've had moments like that where for getting made fun of for being passionate, getting made fun of for just being really into things, right? And openly, though, that's the thing, right? Is like, it's one thing to just be into something. It's another to be very outspoken about it. And obviously, yeah, you ignore those people and you stay away from those people. But man, if, people were getting made fun of, because obviously that's always been a thing. People have always been made fun of. But what I'm trying to say is that if it's gotten so bad to the point that you can't even tell people something that you're interested in without immediately them actually looking at you differently. I'm not just talking about like, oh, haha, we tease him or we tease her about this thing, like we just joke around. No. We straight up think differently about these people based upon the interests they have. And mind you, these are interests, right? These aren't like, I don't know, like I can't even think. Like, I guess it could make sense if you thought somebody dressed weird, but we're talking about interests. We're just talking about things that are just about people, things that people just want to share, things that people are just enjoying, right? It doesn't even have to be something specific now, and that's the problem. The problem comes from the fact that at any point in time, something can be considered cringe. Like, I would show you, but I'm too lazy to go get it. But I literally have a SpongeBob blanket. I'm 21 years old. I have a SpongeBob blanket on my bed right now that I use to go to sleep. I love it. It has Patrick on it too. It has SpongeBob and Patrick. I love that. That's one of my favorite things that I have. I still have plushies. I have, I would go get it, but I still have plushies. I have a poop emoji from when I was 12 years old. Or at least I think. I don't remember how old I was. I have that. I have this little like gnome. I have a gnome and it has my favorite team, my Seahawks, Seahawks. I has a little Seahawks hat on top of the gnome. He has got a really long beard. I have plenty of things that I know for a fact, if I was growing up in this age, would be considered cringe. Or even, other adults. If I hung out with certain adults, I know for a fact they would look at me and be like, bro, how old are you? You're 21 and you still have a SpongeBob blanket? Hell yeah, I still have a SpongeBob blanket. SpongeBob never lost his cool. Why is it as soon as you hit this age, these things don't become cool anymore? Or you just automatically have to, like, you have to force yourself to lose interest? Or like, bro, you know what that made me think of? Running. You can be considered cringe for running. I'm being so serious. Like, in general, you name it. It literally could be for anything. Like, okay. Look, I know, I'm pretty sure I know exactly what you're thinking of because I thought about the same thing. Is it cringe when kids run to lunch? Oh, okay, that might be cringe. That might be a little funny. Just because there is no reason why you should be running to lunch or for a chicken sandwich and chocolate milk, all right? That's pushing it, right? Like, I wouldn't use the word cringe. I would probably say something like that's you're pushing it, right? Like, that's a little, like, you're doing a little too much. But I'm talking about outside of that, right? Like, I'm talking about, I don't know, like, I don't know, man. Like, you, like, literally, like, any scenario that you could think of where it might be like, let's say you see a friend you haven't seen in a long time. You start running to them. Cringe, right? Like, I could go on and on and on about just anything that you could think of. Like, literally the things you have in your room, the things you enjoy, the things, I don't know, like just even how you think about things now is considered cringe. Like, how is it, like, okay, I could understand if someone were to think something you're interested in, or I don't know, like very basic things, right? Like, yes, there is some level of understanding that could be considered weird. I mean, I feel like that's the word that we try to use, but again, we always just end up using the word cringe, right? Like, we never use words like weird, odd, uncommon, right? Different. We don't use words like that anymore. Now it's just cringe, right? And so anyways, I could understand how you could think those things are weird or different or, you know, odd, like I said, but it isn't just that. It's now, it's like, again, it goes so deep to the way in which you think can be considered cringe. Just the way you think could be considered something that someone wants to make you out to be, like you're so not just different. It's not that you're just different. It's not that you're just weird. It's like, what's wrong with you? It's almost like I'm starting to believe that people are associating the word cringe with abnormal. And what I mean, when I say the word abnormal, I mean like mentally, like there is something mentally different in your brain. Like you were born different, not just that you think different. No, like there's something like, oh no, you hit kind of like his screws are loose, right? That's almost the way in which we use the word cringe now. And dude, it drives me insane. But that's all. That's all I had to say. I just kept seeing it. I kept seeing it on my Instagram. I kept seeing it all over my YouTube and whatnot. And I guess I got caught. I got caught in the passion of it. I got baited by just how stupid it is, man. And I just had to come on here. I had to come on here and make a video about it and just talk about it. Because I'm sure I've seen other videos, people talking about it, where this is just not how we should be. You know, especially for the younger generation, dude, because there's no such thing as being a preteen anymore. You go straight from you literally are a child to young adult, right? We have entirely skipped the preteen to teen stage. And I feel like that's a big reason why kids nowadays suffer with things like this, right? Because that's the groups that you see it in. You see it in the young adults to teenager age, where I guess you're cringe. You're cringe for, dude, how much you want to bet if you told a kid that you liked Heelys growing up? Like if you told a teenager of this or of the up and coming generation now that you liked Heelys when you were younger, they would think you're cringe. Or even if you wore Heelys as a teenager, like, I don't know, maybe I'm pushing it, maybe I'm OD, but I could totally see that. I could totally see being a teenager in this day and age and wearing Heelys and everyone being like, that's cringe. You're weird. Why the hell are you wearing those? Aren't those for kids? Even though Heelys are literally one of the coolest things ever. I was so jealous. This is a little bit off topic, but I'm willing to talk about it. I never got Heelys growing up. And to this day, I'm mad. I loved Heelys. You were the coolest. You were the man if you had Heelys, dude. Like man, it was so cool. It was like the equivalent of having like, you know, like a cast, right? Like if you ever remember growing up and somebody walked around, you know, they had the cast on and they'd be all, oh, you want to sign my cast? Oh yeah. And you got all the attention for a week and everybody wanted to sign you. Yeah, I never got that. So you could clearly tell that I'm jealous. But anyways, hey, maybe that's cringe. Maybe that's cringe that I wanted a cast growing up so I could get people to sign their name on mine. But anyways, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a good rest of your day.